Hello everyone and welcome to the vlog 1.0. I'm titling this one, just who the heck is Netrex and what are these vlogs gonna be about? Well, first off, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been gaming for years now, probably close to, well, over 20 years now. God, time flies. But what's interesting is who got me into gaming, and that was actually my grandma. And whenever I was maybe 7 or 8, uh, my grandpa uh, married my grandma, and she actually had an Atari, a regular Nintendo, eventually a Super Nintendo, and then a Nintendo 64. And ever since she showed me how to use that first Atari joystick, uh, how to move those little pixels around on the screen, I was hooked. And really, I've always leaned more towards multiplayer games, and I think that's because I was always playing with her. One of the greatest gameplay experiences I think I've ever had was playing Super Bomberman with her. If you haven't heard of it, it's where you kind of move around a little character and drop bombs, and you have to clear a level and then you move on. And some levels would have bosses on them that, like 1 to 4 players could get in there and, bomb up the place. And then, once the Super Nintendo came out, we got hooked on Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now, she was a pro at this game. If she was alive today and, streaming on Twitch, she could go, she could stand up with some of the best speed gamers, I think, out there. The ones who complete everything. She must have played that game hundreds of times. But after she beat Ganon, the end boss, once, she never would fight him again. Once she got to Ganon, she would always reset the game and start over. But she always completed everything. She got all the bottles, she killed all those spiders that are hidden around everywhere, and just everything. She'd complete it completely up to Ganon, and then reset it. What got me into PC gaming, though, eventually, my grandma broke up with my grandpa and moved away, you know, I don't know, probably about 100 miles away. My grandpa really wasn't a person to live with long term. That's all I'll say about that. But I'd still go down and visit her every summer. That's where we mainly play Bomberman all night, or do playthroughs of Zelda. But eventually, I got a PC at home, and the first game that I ever really played on it was the MMO Star Wars Galaxies. I truly love that game, and I still miss it every day. I think it, and after playing some of the later games like WoW and all those other WoW clones, Star Wars Galaxies was really a great game. It would let you do really whatever you wanted to do in the game, whether you just wanted to, own a shop and sell your wares or become the best crafter on the server. You could do that in Star Wars Galaxies. Eventually, though, some brainhead at LucasArts or SOE, don't really know how it happened, but they turned it into a WoW clone, and if you go Google it, you'll see the whole story. It upset thousands of people, or probably tens of thousands of people, and it even got featured in the news. And it's like that scene in Star Wars where all those voices were silenced all at once. It was a huge disturbance in the Force. But now I play WoW off and on. I think with the new expansion coming out, I'm going to try to get back into it, since it seems to be offering a lot more content than previous expansions, especially with the world quests and the new class. That should be interesting to go through. Though in the past I've played Warhammer Online, though I think it may be discontinued now. I haven't checked in a while. I played the Neverwinter game from Turbine. I've played the Neverwinter game from Cryptic. I've played Star Trek Online, which I really love. I have a lifetime subscription to it, and you'll probably catch me streaming it over on Twitch every once in a while. I've played ESO and many other, pretty much every MMO I've tried out, including WildStar, and I really want to get back into it, but I'm afraid if I devote a lot of time to it, it may be discontinued as well, since it seems like the people behind that are kind of having some difficulties with their finances, or probably not as a company as a whole, I don't think, but WildStar itself is having some financial trouble, even though it went free to play. And I'll talk about that in a separate vlog, since they fundamentally did some things that they thought people wanted, really wanted, but it turned out people really didn't want it. But anyways, I'll save that for later. I'm not a huge FPS fan, but I have played Team Fortress 2 in the past, and I liked that game. I'll probably play some more of it. I'll probably eventually pick up Overwatch from Blizzard, and I bought The Division, but I haven't really played much through it yet. But I will eventually play it as well. In addition, though, to playing games, I also like learning about making games. Right now I use Unity for most of my little projects. And eventually I'm going to put some more Unity tutorials on the channel. If you look, I already have a couple. And probably will be continuing the networking tutorials, since that's kind of what I'm interested in, and I think it's a pretty cool system, and especially once Unity implements all of the features that it's going to, I think it's going to stand up to some of those other engines out there like Unreal, just because of the ease of use. How easy it is to use, and it's actually pretty powerful if you use it right. It's a just because someone chooses Unreal as their engine doesn't mean it's going to be a great game or look great. It depends on the developer and how they use the engine. It's just a tool. But I think it's going to be great for in the future for multiplayer, and they even have their eyes set on implementing some MMO stuff into their networking. So I think Unity is, well, it's already a huge player in the mobile market, and even others. And I think it's going to become even bigger for indies, and you're going to see a lot of cool stuff come out of Unity. But again, that's another topic. I will be streaming on Twitch quite a bit coming up. I work at the post office during the morning. I have a part-time job delivering mail. I'm not your normal letter carrier, though, that most of you probably know. I drive my own vehicle. I don't get out and walk I actually bought one of those Jeeps that have the steering wheel on the other side to make delivering mail easier, and that's what I use most days. But some days they will actually have a mail truck for me that I can use, and I don't have to spend my gas money on it, even though they do reimburse you, but you only get paid every 2 weeks. But anyways, I will be streaming on Twitch coming up, probably most afternoons from around noon central to sometime in the evening. Just depends on how tired I am, or what else I'm doing. So if you want, please go to Twitch, my Twitch channel, follow me. Every time I go online, I also post on Twitter, so please follow me on there as well. And if you like some of the videos on the channel, no, there's not too many on there now, but please like them and subscribe to the channel. And I'm always open to feedback, as long as it's positive and not just a comment that says you suck. If you tell me what I'm doing wrong, then I can hopefully fix it. So anyways, I think that's it for vlog 1.0. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comments, and have a good one, and I'll see you later.